Listen up, all commuters. Yes, that's motorists, pedestrians, passengers, motorcyclists, pillion riders, and cyclists. We are urging you to take time on the road. With the increased traffic as all schools are now open, we're appealing to you. Exercise caution and obey the rules of the road. Drivers, look out for our children as they cross the roads. Pedestrians, please use the sidewalks and guardrails to stay out of the busy roads. Let's all make the effort to use the roads responsibly. Welcome to this Wednesday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I am Adrian Atkinson, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, September 13, 2023. $150 million has been approved by the government to undertake emergency work to provide water to drought-affected areas over the coming 4 weeks. The country is being affected by meteorological drought-like conditions, resulting in scheduled water lock-offs to manage the limited supply. Minister with responsibility for water, Senator Matthew Samuda, says the primary focus will be on eastern parishes, but other areas will also receive attention. He was speaking at today's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. $80 million will be going to the National Water Commission, NWC, to increase the trucking of water to schools, hospitals, health centres, homes for the aged and communities.
We've also allocated 10 million Jamaican dollars to the National Irrigation Commission to help with some trucking in the hills of St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, and where we're having also reduced rainfall.
The remaining $60 million will go to the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development to increase its support to communities. Portfolio Minister Desmond McKenzie says the trucking of water is a real concern to the administration.
This $60 million that have been provided from the $150 million will go a far way in offering some level of relief and support in the respective parishes.
Still on the issue of water, a black tank program is being coordinated for distribution in 5 parishes starting mid-October. It's being facilitated by the Ministries of Local Government and Community Development and Economic Growth and Job Creation.
These tanks will be provided to the municipal corporations to be distributed in communities based on the survey that we have been doing. So we're not just getting the tanks and issuing the tanks just like that. It is based on investigation. It is based on a needs basis.
Minister McKenzie says the administration continues to provide support to the downtown areas of South and Southwest St. Andrew and Central and West Kingston with the trucking of water.
We will continue to do that while working with the National Water Commission in finding the answers, and I think we are reaching there, Minister, because the pipeline which has been laid on Spanish Town Road, once that line is fully activated, will bring some relief to the people in downtown Kingston.
Meanwhile, Minister with responsibility for water, Senator Matthew Samuda, says the government will continue managing its water resources despite recent rainfall. He says while the projection indicates a 50% above normal rainfall for the coming months, it is not conclusive that this will be the case for Jamaica.
We have seen some rain and persons are tempted to believe, oh, well, we got rain yesterday, I should have water tomorrow. The reality is that the increases in rainfall that we've experienced since March have not been sufficient to recharge our water systems, either the NWC systems or indeed the municipal systems.
Between March to July, data from the ministry shows that only June recorded higher than normal rainfall. According to Minister Samuda, as at September 11, the catchment level at the Mona Reservoir was 36.1%, which is approximately 27 days of storage at normal usage. Meanwhile, the Hermitage Dam went up to 53.7%.
The inflow trends are also seen, and you will see for both Hermitage and indeed for Mona that we have had less rainfall or less inflows into our system every single month of the year. Now, this is important to understand. The situation at the other major sources show that, Hope River is operating at 20%, the Yalas River is giving us 30%, the Wagwater is giving us 10%, and the Ginger River is giving us 10%.
Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams reports that 380 teacher vacancies in schools have been filled. The update was made earlier today during the weekly post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House. Minister Williams says schools have also reported that interviews to fill the remaining posts are ongoing. In the meantime, she says the ministry has noticed a high rate of teachers taking on the role of their own replacement.
These are those teachers who are approved for 4 months or 8 months leave. A total of 519 have so far decided to forego their leave and remain in the classrooms.
According to Minister Williams, an extra 68 teachers who are about to retire have decided to stay for a while to help fill the gaps in classrooms.
We really thank them for the decisions that they have made to continue to be in our classrooms with our teachers. Of course, we thank our existing in-service teachers. We thank the new teachers coming in, and again, those who have seen it fit to decide to be in our classrooms even though they were approved for long leave or retirement.
The work to construct 2 brand new police stations in Westmoreland is progressing well. Minister of National Security Dr. Horace Chang toured the work sites at Frome and Little London recently to get a first-hand view of the progress. He says the construction progress is being closely monitored to make sure they are delivered on time and within budget.
We are monitoring it very closely because we need the station in Westmoreland. Westmoreland is a parish that has seen some increase in criminal activity, and we have had to deploy more personnel in Westmoreland. And the quality of the station that existed here for many years was way below standards for police officers.
Current Westmoreland police data indicate a 16% decline in murders in the parish. The National Security Minister says the new stations will help to further decrease murders in the parish and change the face of policing in Westmoreland.
So we are investing in building an appropriate infrastructure for the police in Westmoreland and across Jamaica. We need our men not only properly trained but in good buildings that they can perform their professional duties in the way they have been trained and want to do it.
Construction to the Frome station is to cost about $200 million, while $175 million is projected for Little London. They're being built under the ministry's Project Rebuild, Overhaul and Construct PROC initiative and are being funded by the National Housing Trust. Completion of the Frome station is set for July 2024. Work on the Little London station is scheduled to end in the last quarter of 2024. And finally, operators of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs, are being encouraged to tap into the Latin American LATAM market as they seek to expand their businesses. Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Obin Hill, says this market has not been fully explored and now is the time to increase exports to that region. He was delivering the keynote address at the Keys to LATAM conference held at the Spanish Court Hotel in New Kingston on Thursday.
With a focus on increasing exports from Jamaica to our Latin America counterparts, including especially the Dominican Republic, Mexico, Colombia, Chile, of course, Costa Rica, Panama. A concerted effort must be made to build strong trade relationships and strengthen economic ties.
Senator Hill explains that the ministry has been offering strong financial and technical support to help businesses produce and export more of Jamaica's goods and services. Through JAMPRO's Export Max program, approximately 85 businesses have been engaged and are part of a cluster of export-ready companies. This is part of a thrust to increase export earnings.
That's the only way we're going to become a wealthy country. As we look at our low per capita GDP, we have to increase that. The only real way to do that is that if we're going to export a lot more, and we have to expand our population to export to by negotiating new markets.
The annual Keys to LATAM conference brings together business minds and stakeholders from across the Latin America region. It aims to provide industry professionals with insights into business opportunities in the lucrative Latin American market, which has a population of over 650 million people and a combined GDP of over $5 trillion. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
The government is taking all the right steps to revamp the public transportation system. This includes fuel diversification, expanding the bus fleet, and restructuring systems to ensure efficiency. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC is one of the top priorities for modernization. Find out how one program is underway to kickstart the revolution.
It's the first electric bus or e-bus in the Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC's fleet. The electric bus pilot program was rolled out on April 18, 2023 to test its performance on Jamaican roadways and determine the use of electric buses in the future of public transportation. We visited the JUTC's Spanish Town depot to learn more about the electric bus and experience the ride. The use of electric buses form part of the government's push to incorporate environmentally friendly technology in the public transportation system.
The government is moving very quickly to integrate new technologies into the operation of the JUTC's fleet because it gives us two critical advantages. One, the environmental and climate change advantages, which we have commitments for, but it improves the bottom line of the JUTC.
Electric buses are known for zero to low emission of toxic carbon gases. This advantage supports Jamaica's pledge to the United Nations climate change goal to reduce carbon dioxide emissions. Managing Director of the JUTC, Paul Abrams, says the pilot program will be used to determine the way forward on reducing JUTC's carbon footprint.
We are hoping that should the pilot be successful and we are able to measure the emissions, that it's successful and it's beneficial, then yes, I think that the pilot will definitely show us a way forward.
Mr. Abrams says the testing of e-buses is also a good sign for the future of electric vehicles generally in Jamaica.
Electric mobility is something that is worldwide, and we feel that time has come for it to be introduced to Jamaica. JUTC is basically a platform where a lot of mobility, CNG, biodiesel, etc., are all tested. So we really are the platform for a wider expansion for Jamaica. So we are excited to see what the capabilities of EV can do in Jamaica. We in our own operations analyze daily, and based on what comes out of a pilot will determine how we will be able to move forward based on the terrain that the buses operate on, the overloading, etc. And that's what the pilot is all about, to determine how do we move forward in the feasibility of introducing more EV mobility to Jamaica and to the JUTC.
The e-bus being used for the test is disabled friendly and includes a wheelchair access feature. Feedback so far suggests that commuters are very excited about riding on the electric bus.
They're very curious about it because, you're accustomed to hearing an engine running and you're accustomed to hearing noises all over, and this is just as silent as your grandmother's sewing machine. So it's very interesting for them, and the feedback has been excellent so far. They keep asking, when are we getting more?
The question of when more e-buses are coming is easily answered. What will happen long term will only be determined after the pilot testing phase is completed.
Originally, the pilot is for 6 months, but as you are aware, we have additional buses coming, 5 EV buses and some 45 diesel buses. We are thinking that it is important that we expand the pilot program to 9 months. In that way, we can gather as much information as possible to determine the way forward.
We explored some of the e-buses' amazing features. The Spanish Town depot is also equipped with a charging station to recharge the unit. 3 more charging stations will be installed with the next set of electric buses to be incorporated in the pilot testing. Meanwhile, Quality Assurance Specialist at the JUTC, Barrington Brown, explains some of the technical features of the electric bus.
The unit takes 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to charge at 80%. So the bus will not go below 20%. That's a minimum. The unit can run on 100% full charge for 225 kilometers, and that's equivalent to 10 hours. For my studies, EV compared to diesel, it's very easy to maintain. Most of our diesel buses have lubrication leaks. Our EV doesn't have lubrication. So we don't have any seals to change and all of that.
During the e-bus pilot program, the dealer will provide technical support for maintenance, while JUTC mechanics will understudy.
It has been performing wonderful because feedback from the driver, passengers love it, and it's maintenance, almost maintenance free.
The government is committed to driving the quest to preserve Jamaica's environment and people through cleaner technology. The electric bus pilot program is one of several stops on the road to modernizing Jamaica's public transportation sector.
Drivers, you need to know the skills to drive defensively on our roadways, and this will help you to reduce your chances of getting into a collision. Let's learn some of the skills in this next feature.
It looks like I'm all ready to go, but am I really? Yes, I'm doing all the right checks to make sure my vehicle is road ready. But what about everybody else? How do I get ready for them?
Driving to save lives, time and money in spite of the conditions around you and the actions of others. But in a nutshell, we want to ensure that, we leave our destination and we reach home safely without creating any harmful situation for any other road users.
Using the techniques of defensive driving helps you to reduce the chance of other people's mistakes affecting you and your vehicle.
You must always be aware that though you might be a good defensive driver, the other road users a lot of times aren't. People will borrow your lane, people will overtake carelessly because they're tired of being in front of a vehicle that is slower than them or a truck.
The government is targeting behavioral change among drivers to reduce the country's vehicular collisions and fatalities, and defensive driving is one of the tools. Grinnell's driving school is known for championing safe driving. Director and instructor Seth Grinnell leads us through some useful defensive driving techniques. Let's learn.
The road code says that the person who arrives first should be allowed to go first, assuming that everyone now, of course, comes to a stop at the stop sign. We'll creep to our line of vision to see if it's safe to go. I'm going to make a right turn and then I proceed. Using the cover and scan technique, when approaching an intersection, we usually want to shadow our brake, but most times what we do, we toot our horn, we don't slow down because we believe the horn will stop the person's vehicle pressing their brake for them. That's not the technique we should use. So when the light turns to green, we wait at least 2 seconds. Then we scan our intersection, ensure no one is running their light, and then we proceed safely. Alright, so we're on Hope Road, and this road slopes slightly downhill. So it's very easy for you to gather speed without even knowing. Now the speed limit is 50 kilometers per hour, but I can promise you, I am going 50 now, and you realize that people will be passing me with ease. Now, one of the biggest issues here is that people always crash into the wall right at waterfalls there. Now, there are adequate road signs. We can see the road signs, the backdrop, which speaks to caution or warning, and the left arrow bent like that means left bend. So caution, left bend. Now, if you do not slow down, there's even a recommended speed here, I promise you your vehicle will only try to go straight. You will not be able to maneuver the bend, and the wall shall meet you. So the road signs should be adhered to.
Eager to learn, we quizzed Seth some more about other defensive driving techniques and how to deal with the narrow roadways, especially in rural Jamaica.
Bumper-to-bumper collisions is one of the highest crashes that we have, especially in built-up areas. Within Kingston, we have a lot of built-up areas, people who are late, people who are impatient, and the closer you are to the vehicle in front of you, the more likely that if you are distracted, if you aren't really aware of the situation, you'll end up into the back of the vehicle. Even a sneeze. Because when you sneeze, sometimes you jerk forward and before you know it, you're in someone's trunk. A lot of times what happens, you might be peacefully going about your way. Someone bad drives you, and then they give you some choice words, you know, the body language, and you believe that you have to meet them in kind. You just have to let it go. It doesn't positively impact your driving. A lot of times it leads to you taking unnecessary risks. So you want to take extra caution, use up your horn to alert the road users in front of you that you are coming and that they should hold their side of the road and so forth.
There are many ways to deal with the far too many lives being lost on our nation's roads. Government's enactment of the New Road Traffic Act is helping to actualize the transformation by issuing harsher penalties for road safety breaches. Defensive driving puts the driver in the seat to save lives. With more calculated efforts and responsible actions, it protects the most vulnerable road users and benefits all without a cost.
We change pace a little to look at a digital tool that is driving opportunities for local farmers to benefit from Jamaica's growing tourism industry. Let's look at how this food and tourism partnership is reaping a bountiful harvest.
Many times we have so many things that we can't sell. We have, because sometimes all the farmers goes out and plant Irish potatoes, and it's too much. So what we do is just use the phone, same place in the field, get to them, and they try everything, and know before them we only have spoilage. We can't sell. So no matter how it glut in the whole island, they find a way to unload it.
Bye-bye farm produce glut. Alex is here to move farmers' produce onto the plates of visitors to our shores.
The Agri Linkages Exchange Center, good afternoon.
It's not my...
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Willis. How are you doing? Okay. So what do you have reaping now?
We have a portion of corn ready, you know.
Is that sweet corn? Okay, sir. Let me just add that to the database for you. How much corn are you reaping?
We have 12 dozen corn ready, you know.
What's the selling price? 120 per dozen?
So, you can look the buyer for me anytime you're ready. You hear, boss?
Another problem, Mr. Willis. I'll post the information for you, and once the market is available, I'll give you a call and let you know. All right, Mr. Willis, thanks for calling.
As easy as that, farmers are reaping economic benefits through tourism. The Agri Linkages Exchange is an electronic platform where buyers and sellers of agricultural produce meet. Currently, There are agri-brokers who manage the platform. They operate from the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, St. Andrew office. It's a collaboration between the Ministries of Tourism and Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries. The center has raked in more than $50 million in sales for approximately 400 farmers across the country.
This program is dedicated specifically to the farmers, and what we were trying to solve was the fact that a number of our hotel, especially our hotel purchasing personnel, had difficulty getting produce that was in season, out of season, or even where they were located. So you'll find that particular fruits that will be in abundance in the eastern end of the island never ever gets to the west, and vice versa. For example, mangoes. Mangoes are very abundant in the east, and again the west would love to have some of the fruits that we have in abundance at one place. So the Agri Linkages exchange platforms would have been a link to ensure that both buyers and sellers meet.
Since Alex, we have more in demand than supply. It's been so good for us, trust me.
There are farmers who might not be technologically savvy to actually go on the system themselves, so they'll call into the center and ask, and these agro-brokers will be able to put them on the system.
We supply and deliver produce, fruits, vegetables to hotels and restaurants. It's about 10 hotels that we supply on a weekly basis. Hotels that we supply, it's from small to large hotels. We found out about the Alex Center through a farmer. It is a very good initiative.
On a daily basis, we probably make contact with 20-30 buyers on behalf of our farmers, and they themselves, the buyers do call the center. Buyers request varied amount of quantity per produce depending on what the usage is. If it's for agro-processing or export, the volumes will range from as small as a small agro-processor may need 80 pounds of sorrel or 100 pounds, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, but then you have an exporter who will need 10,000 pounds of sweet potato, 15,000 pounds of pumpkin, 20,000 pounds of other produce. So the volumes vary depending on the usage. We walk with the farmers and we stay with them until the transaction is completed, until they're paid, until the goods are delivered.
Our hotels are interested in buying local produce. There's really no substitute for the produce that we actually produce here. If you were to import any of our grown provision, it wouldn't taste the same. And therefore there's really no incentive for the hotels to be purchasing overseas. What we have not had from our local industry is exactly where it is and in what quantities. And Alex has been able to solve that mischief somewhat.
It's simple, man. Just get the phone or come down to the RADA where the office is, register with Alex, and that's it.
Persons with effect from the 1st of September through the airlines and their check-in should be completing the online passenger declaration form and submitting it. But we know as we go through the transition, there might be some persons who have challenges. We know that there are some persons who might have issues, and certainly we'll have a few forms at the airport to assist those passengers just in case.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to let us know what you learned by sending us your feedback via email at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You can find more content like this on our website at jis.gov.jm, and join us again tomorrow for another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, reminding you to be safe on the roads.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.